We always hear Git is one of the top things developers must learn. Maybe you've heard phrases like, Git is a must, important, critical, indispensable when working in teams. But what really is Git all about? Disclaimer. This video won't be about Git commands, but about concepts and why we use version controls in our projects. Originally authored by Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux, in 2005, Git is today the most widely used free and open-source distributed version control system. Consider, for example, a big project where many developers are working on. A few concerns arise. How do they share the codebase? Does each developer have to have his own copy on his machine? Should the code be shared through Mail, Slack, WebEx, Discord? How to decide on a central location for our source code everyone can have access to? How do developers handle conflicts when changing the same lines? When a new bug is introduced, how can we easily check which change introduced this bug, and from who, from when and where? Well, this is why a version control system is needed. A version control is a system responsible for tracking changes to your code, which is a critical part in debugging in case a mistake is made. With a version control, we can look at all the changes we have made over time and we can roll back to specific versions of our code. Git mainly consists of the remote repository, which is distributed and can be accessed by all developers, and the development environment present on your local machine. It consists of the working directory, the staging area, and the local repository. The local repository is just a copy of the shared remote repository on your system. When executing the command git clone, you are essentially creating a copy of the remote on your local machine. The working directory is the directory where you're working on your computer. It consists of tracked files which Git knows about, and untracked files which Git does not know about. On the other hand, staging area is where all the files that are going to be part of the next commit reside. Hey, hold on for a second. What is a commit? Well, if you think of ones and zeros as the core units of computers, then commits are also the building blocks of Git. In layman terms, commits are a snapshot of your source code and contain relevant information such as the author of the commit, the date, the commit's message, and the commit's hash, which is like an ID. After committing, your local repository is updated. After you're ready to share your commits, you can update the remote repo by executing git push, and everyone will be able to access the new code updates you wrote. When the remote repository is updated, the other developers won't just magically have their local repo updated. They should execute git pull to have access to the latest code. But how can developers be guaranteed to always have access to clean working code? The answer to that is Git branches. A branch is a separate version of the main repository. Branching lets developers work separately in parallel on a feature with their own commits until they're ready to have their code merged into the main branch, which all developers would then pull from to have the latest code features available on their local repo. Initially, all Git projects start with a single branch called master, and typically when setting up the project, a new branch is created off of master called development or develop, where all development work is made, and master would be where all deployed code resides. For example, a developer working on a feature would create a branch off the develop branch. When the feature's code is ready and approved by the team leader, the feature branch will be merged on develop. That was a quick introduction to Git. For more content, don't forget to subscribe.